You can run away from your problems, but when you're physically running, you, I think you end up running into them in a way that's helpful. And maybe through them. I'm I'm Todd Daly, and I'm a professor of theology and ethics at Urbana Theological Seminary, and I like to run. At this time in my life, it became not only an escape, that was a very life-giving experience. So I've not given that up. It started about almost 20 years ago. Challenging family dynamics, young kids needed an outlet, needed to exercise, didn't know anybody. Probably have undiagnosed ADHD, and so I bought a cheap pair of running shoes at Kohl's, and I just decided I'm going to go for a run, and just to keep my sanity. And so I did. I put on this awful pair of shoes and thought I would try to run a couple miles, and I made it, like, I think maybe a mile, a little bit more. And my lungs were burning. My legs felt awful. Just couldn't get air into my lungs. And I thought, well, this is horrible. So I made it another like quarter mile and turned around and think the whole run was like 2 miles. And then thought, okay, well, I gave that a try. But then, something about that experience, as bad as it was, I just couldn't let it go. And I thought it's got to be better than that. So I think the next day I tried it again, and I felt a little bit better and went a little bit longer. And then, the 2 and 3 mile runs started to turn into like 4, 5, 8 mile runs. And what I found is that after I got over some of the physical stuff, right, it gave me an opportunity to mentally kind of both disconnect and recharge, or maybe reset both my body and my mind, which allowed me to be more present and to engage in multiple family work dynamics that could often be challenging, but it allowed me to engage in those in a way where I could be more fully present. So running became, for what would become extended periods of time where no one could get a hold of me, and I didn't have to deal with the outside world, so to speak, other than what was in front of me. And that was, I would go away. I don't think I didn't realize it at the time, but when I started running, I mean, I look back now on that period of my life, and it's clear to me now. What wasn't clear then is that I was running for survival. I was running so that I could get up the next day and face whatever I had to face with enough energy and compassion and kindness to keep going. And running allowed me to go on another day and not completely implode into despair, anger, cynicism, and contempt. Um, but I certainly, I think early on it was mainly a coping mechanism, and it probably kept me off like antidepressants and other things that might have accomplished the same thing, but would have left me physically much more unhealthy than I was. So there's a whole panoply of like mental spaces you can occupy in running. Some of them are edifying, some of them are not. Um, but the weird thing is, after the run, almost always you get this kind of well-known phenomenon, like the post-runner high, where my body, though I was tired physically, I was also more alert and focused, and in some kind of bizarre sense, actually energized and not fidgety and on edge. And that was almost always the outcome of a run. So that was always a benefit. Even if I came back mentally, maybe in a space that wasn't always helpful physically, I felt better. It's a lot of that is just the space to process, because running is really simple, right? It you don't need to learn how to run. Running is just, it can be as simple as, putting on a pair of shoes and putting one foot in front of the other as fast as you feel like you're comfortable. Or it allows your mind to go places that in other environments it would never really go. I'm more interested in the mental landscape than the geography. We're psychosomatic beings, right? So it's easy to parse out the mental from the physical, but in reality, I don't think you can have the mental without the physical. It was therapy, and running is still therapy, and there is always a dimension. There's always a therapeutic dimension to running, whether or not runners or other people think about it. It's never about one foot in front of the other. Even though there are training runs where you have to tell yourself and will yourself to keep going. Physically, to keep going. There is absolutely a spiritual dimension to running. Quite literally, you can sweat out and exorcise some of your demons. Running gives your mind space to analyze all the crazy thoughts that come into your head. And again, there's ways to short circuit that. You can run with music, right? Put your AirPods in. Sometimes I do that because that's all I really want, is to knock out the miles and to kind of get an emotional jolt. I don't do it to stay in physical shape, but it helps me. Again, it's psychosomatic. You get benefits in both. And I think any runner would tell you that. But I keep doing it because I still can. And I know there will be a day when I won't be able to do that anymore. And maybe that is some of this pride that like 99% of the rest of the public is not crazy enough to do that. But they're missing out. They're missing out on something. There's some ongoing, lingering issues that kind of never clear up, but they're not serious enough to keep me from running. And they in a positive way remind me that I like I do have a body, and it won't last forever. Sometimes you run from things, which is necessary, but you can't run from something without running towards something else, even if you're not sure what that something else is. But it's always better to run towards something than away from something. Unless, of course, you're being chased by an angry bear.